Hi guys. So this is something new I'm trying today using Zoom to just create some kind of recording, and hopefully it will save me some time and make it easier for you guys also to view what I'm doing. Uh, so so this is just a test for now, and I'm going to just see how it works out. If the recording and the screen share thing work out well, then I'll continue that. But I'm going to look at the support and resistance and other more details of the indexes later and post it in a separate note. But just looking at the S&P 500, let's look at the weekly chart, and here this is the momentum. This is the RSI, and here we see, so this is a linear regression channel. This is an indicator that I find very useful, and it's essentially a mathematical function which uses the previous values and then kind of extrapolates it uh, to create a channel where, if you see, this is these two the channels are essentially the two standard deviations. So from here, this upper line is two standard deviations, and this is two standard deviations below. And I found it very useful that sometimes you have to flip around different time frames, but especially the indexes, I've seen that they fit very well into this linear regression channel. So here I'm looking at S&P 500. Let's look at the monthly chart. And here, if we see, since 2009, we have a very good channel here, essentially uptrend here. Here, this was a 2010 correction, and then this correction again, where it hit the bottom of this channel, went up beyond the upper range, came back. This was a big correction, went below the lower channel, rebounded back, hit, uh, and then here this seems to be somewhere in the middle. And here, if we see, the upper border of this is somewhere, even on a long-term monthly time frame, is around, I would say, around 3,200 or so. So let's look at the weekly. So even on the weekly, if we see, we have a good channel here since this bottom here in 2018. And um, I don't want to make sure it's getting recorded. Yeah. So so here it looks like that I think we S&P 500, we have some resistance here. This 3025 to 30. This is a resistance, but I think if S&P 500 can go above this upper range of the channel here uh, around 3100, it's possible that we could go to 3100 if S&P 500 can go about this recent highs. I'm going to just put a line here. So around 3024. So this needs, if this is a resistance, if S&P 500 stalls around here, then it's still possible it could go down to the lower range of this channel, which is like 2700. So this is very important, that if this was rejected once here, if it again faces resistance with this go down somewhere here, and again we have this support here. So 2700, 2725 still possible. Very, I would say, considering that this is a seasonally um, bearish season. We haven't seen a big correction recently. But at the same time, it's also possible that if it goes above that, we could go to 3100 first, and then we could go down lower here, same around 2700. So we have to consider both these scenarios. That it will all depend on whether these highs get exceeded this week or not. So this is going to determine our near-term path over next 1 to 2 weeks. But uh, so we will see how it goes. But at this time, I don't think we can go above this channel somewhere like beyond 3100 without a bigger correction to 2700, 2725 or so. So that is why the upside here is very limited. The downside is more, I would say, 10% correction, which is what I've been telling in my updates. So that is why I've been hedging my portfolio, and that is what I suggest, that if we keep on going higher, then don't go too optimistic and buy on margins, and just play it safe. Let's see the weekly. Here we see the momentum. Here, if we see even on the momentum, we have some divergences here. Here, prices are going higher. The momentum, we have a divergence here. Uh, so we have a divergence here. So it's not a good sign. That means that this upper price action, as we're going higher, it's weaker, and the momentum is getting weaker. So a pullback is likely, whether it starts from here, whether it starts from here, I don't know, but we are going to go down here, 2700, 2725 or so. This is a weekly RSI, still not so overbought, so still we have a little bit more room to go. But if we see here, around 65, it kind of stalls here. So we are getting close to that level. Let's see the daily. So so here the daily RSI still has some more room to go, and recently, whenever we have seen pullbacks, it has gone to a more overbought level, then came down to oversold. So still more room to go. So this, looking at this, it more favors the scenario that we might be able to go up to 3100 or so before we see this big correction, which might bring this RSI down to oversold level. So let's look at IBB. IBB chart I found more useful compared to XBI. And I'm going to start from the monthly. These are some lines I put earlier. I'm going to just delete them. Okay. So we see a clear top here, 2015. This was after this drug pricing issue started, and then IBB went up. And here we see it going down. Here it made it another top. Let's see the weekly. Wait, I'm gonna just. All right, now it's better. So here, if you see on the weekly chart, it's fitting well into this linear regression channel. Again, we see going up. So there is some resistance here around 110. I'm going to post more about this, but this could this could still go up. I mean, if S&P 500 keeps on going to 3100, then it's possible IBB could go to about 100 and I would say 110 is a resistance, but I don't think it's going to go above that. But still possible to go up to 115. But the broad trend is down. And here, if we see, even if it goes up to here, the channel is downtrending, and this is going to go down. All right. So so looking at the daily here it looks like it hit the upper level of this channel, and it could go down. If we see the lower end of the channel, maybe around 94 or so. Let's look at XPI, which is a little on the daily. Here we see again it's hitting the upper end of this channel. Here the RSI is again little bit more room to go, maybe. I'm not sure. But again, this is again a looks like a downtrend here. If I mean, if I could put a Elliott wave, I mean, I know many people include it in their analysis, but I would probably put it like this. So where could it go? This looks like a downtrend, and I mean it definitely is going to go below this 64 when it's all over, which might take time. It might be by the end of this next year's recession 2020, which I expect. But uh, I would say somewhere here. I mean, the XPI, if another 1 or 2 years, it definitely I see it going down there, and it's going to take all the individual biotechs with it. So we need to be very very cautious here. I mean, of course, this is not going to happen in a straight line. It's going to be zigzag within this channel, but this is somewhere it's going. So 50 is somewhere I think it could go. It's going to be a big drop about, this is going to be a big drop about 40%. So, so I think we need to be prepared for this. And that is why I'm hedging my portfolio with the 3x inverse ETFs. All right. So I'm going to post more details about this. Okay. So let's look at some of these stocks. Which this is a service I use, which is called Biopharma Catalyst, which I highly recommend that anybody in biotech use it. I mean, I use it a lot, and I really don't know where else to look for Catalyst. I know Bloomberg has a calendar, but it's not everybody has access to that, and I've tried using that, which is very confusing, and this is very simple, and I think almost everybody uses it. Okay, so let's see. Hepatocellular carcinoma, liver cancer, phase 3 interim analysis due by mid-October 2019. Second interim analysis due in the first half. So they expect data by mid-October, which is already past it. So the second interim analysis is due in the first half. I want to just quickly look at the charts also, and then I mean this is a company which I'm not very interested in, but let's skip this one. Okay, ARQL. This is a stock I own. Phase one ARQ 751 solid tumors. Phase 1B data to be presented at AACR NCI conference on October 27th. So this is already passed. Today is October 27th. So this data, let's skip this. Next is DCPH, solid tumors, phase 1, 2, Rebastanib and paclitaxel. Phase 1B preliminary data is going to be presented tomorrow. So DCPH this is a stock which I owned in the past, and if you guys remember, they presented very impressive data in these GIST tumors, which was better than BPMC. So this was where then the stock jumped. It has been consolidating, looks like going up. So this is some news on this molecule ribostinib, small molecule switch control inhibitor of TI2. In preclinical testing, it showed activity as single agent, and when combined with paclitaxel, synergistic reduction in circular tumor cells and ablating distant metastasis. So there was some encouraging preclinical data. And in this phase 1b clinical trial, this is a design, they're going to be testing this. Phase 1, they're going to find first the recommended dose, and then in the phase 2, they're going to be testing it in multiple tumors, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, endometrial cancers. They are going to enroll 36 patients in part 1, 132 in part 2. All right, let's see. So this is I mean, oncology is still hard to predict how the cancers will respond. But that I mean, this looks like this could be some positive data. So I'm gonna just look at. So DCPH, they also have some other catalysts, DCC 3014, solid tumors, hematological malignancies. They also have some data on 29th. This is, let's look at this, phase 1 in solid tumors or hematological malignancies. So DCC 3014, investigational orally administered potent highly selective inhibitor of CSF1. Greater than 100-fold selectivity for CSF1R. This was the target which many companies were attempting recently. Uh, so they did in the preclinical studies, they tested this molecule in colorectal cancer, and they did it as a monotherapy in combination with anti-PD-1 antibody, and they found that the inhibiting effect of DCC 3014 was greater than vehicle control. All right. So based on this finding, they advanced this into a phase 1 clinical study. So preclinical data looks good. I mean, hopefully we can get some good phase 1 data, which probably might be a little too early, but still. Okay. And then they have 29th, they have, let's look at this. So this is ripretinib. This is investigational orally administered kinase switch control inhibitor in GIST, systemic mastocytosis, gliomas, other solid tumors driven by tyrosine protein kinase or platelet-derived growth factor alpha. So they are doing it in multiple trials. Just fourth line, phase 3. Just second line, phase 3. Just gliomas, phase 1. Solid tumors, phase 1. So this data which is coming up is second, fourth line, phase 1. So in GIST, this is a KIT and PDGFR inhibitor that blocks the KIT mutations. So here they presented a phase 1 trial at ESMO in 2018. Let's see that. Preliminary phase 1 clinical studies with DCC 2618 at ESMO. Preliminary median progression-free survival and disease control rates in second line and third line GIST patients demonstrate the potential for improved and durable clinical outcomes. Updated objective response rates and disease control rates observed. Okay. Median progression-free survival in fourth line GIST demonstrate the potential for durable clinical outcomes with DCC 2618 in patients with advanced disease. So here, second line, they had ORR of 18%, median progression-free survival 42 weeks. Third line, more than fourth line, 24 weeks. Second and third line, 40 weeks. Okay, that's good. Okay, let me just look at something else. I mean, it looks good so far. DCPH, I mean, this is a stock which, I mean, looks like it's going up. I mean, if three more catalysts, if we see something good, could possibly go to, let's say, 40, 46. I mean, I haven't looked at the other options, how much, but that is something we can look at too. How much is the implied move here? So looks like some insider selling also recently. Not too much, but there has been some insider selling also, which is not unreasonable considering the stock popped up so much. Okay, so anyway, this is something which, yeah, maybe a little bit of position I might buy. So institutions owning, yeah, sometimes it helps. I mean, it's not absolute, but OrbiMed, Red Mile, 130 million owned by OrbiMed, Red Mile, 80 million, Millennium, 52 million. Deerfield is another good one, 21 million. All right. So doesn't look bad. I think DCPH here, pullback going up. Looks like some momentum going on here, and looks like some upside. I think I might pick up a small position on Monday. All right, let's look at next one. AGO phase one. This one is already done. I'm going to skip this. So this cancer conference going on, and looks like a lot of data is being presented here. ATNM, this is a stock which I keep on reading about. I haven't owned it in the past. IOMAB BAML phase 3. interim data to be presented. This is going to be tomorrow noon. Uh, let's look at this. So IOMAB, this is so this targets CD45, which is an antigen widely expressed on leukemia and lymphoma, cancer cells, B cells, and stem cells. So it's essentially radio isotope iodine 131. And essentially what it is doing is this molecule is delivering the radioisotope iodine 131 to the cancer cells, sort of like very targeted radiation kind of therapy, which avoids the side effect of radiation. It is currently being studied in the pivotal phase 3 Sierra trial in relapse refractory AML, age 55. Primary endpoint is DCR, durable complete remission at 6 months. Secondary endpoint of overall survival at 1 year. Okay, so they have some phase 2 data. Let's look at that. This is interesting. Phase 2 data in 58 patients with advanced AML. This is nice. Complete remission in 100% patients. These patients experienced transplant and graftment at day 28. Overall survival rate was 30% at 1 year, approximately 20% at 2 years. This was developed at Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. All right, this is nice. So the phase 2 data was nice. Let's see. This looks interesting. And this already popped up a lot. I don't know. The, I mean, did they already come up with the data or let's see. So, interim data, okay. So they're going to present this data from 50% enrollment in the phase 3 trial. Conference call and webcast is going to be at 12 p.m. So this poster data looks interesting. It was also selected for honorable distinction award at the 2019 this oncology meeting. So it looks like the data looks like it might be promising. I mean, this could have still more room to go up. Looks like this was in a downtrend. Just all right. I'm gonna just check this one too. So they had some insider buying last year in December, about looks like 8 million or so. Maybe there was some offering, but there was no insider transactions this year. So institutional holders looks like SABI is a good institutional investor. Small amount, not too much. I mean, not very strong, I would say. Not very. Institutional support is not that strong. Data looks good though. So anyway, this is, I think I'm going to skip this one. This already popped up a lot, and this is something which, but I'm going to just keep it on my watch list for now. And this is anyway, like a penny stock, very speculative. So I'm going to skip this one. PTGX, phase one data, Crohn's disease, October 28th. Okay, I'm going to skip this one. Let's look at this one, Mirati. This is interesting. So Mirati is has been in the news due to its this KRAS G12C inhibitor, which recently Amgen they came up with their molecule, and this was so let's look at this. This is I don't know why this is in this kind of language, but wait. So this is the molecule KRAS G12C inhibitor MRTX 849 targets KRAS G12C mutations. Initial focus on non-small cell lung cancer and colorectal cancer, phase 1, 2. So this I know it went up from like $2 to $100, and then now. So one of the big problems with this, with me feeling bullish about this one, is that it has a big rival Amgen, which recently itself its KRAS inhibitor showed promise, and then they showed some more longer term data where the response was going down. So here any data comparison is going to be made with Amgen, and so some insider selling here, which is not unreasonable. The stock went up so much in the last 1 year, so there hasn't been any insider buying recently. So institutional investors, Mirati Therapeutics, let's look at some of Perceptive, big position, 234 million. Baker Brothers, 203 million. Cormorant is another good one, 88 million. So So this is very binary. This is very binary. I don't know. It will depend on the data. It's hard to speculate here how the data is going to turn up. But this is going to be very binary, and I think the best way to play this is to either use a straddle, option straddle, which can play both ways, or if long, I think selling calls to hedge the position might be a good idea. We can look at the options also and see how much is the implied move here, but I think I'm going to skip this one. And so we have at least one stock today that looks good to buy tomorrow morning, DCPH. Next is VBIV, recurrent glioblastoma, phase 1 to part A immuno-oncology data, October 29th. So I think they failed this trial, let's see. Okay. I'm going to skip this one. I think recurrent GBM, recurrent glioblastoma, very hard cancer to treat. I think it's like metastatic, advanced pancreatic cancer. Most therapies fail. I'm going to stay away from this. Next is again DCPH, AMAG, McKenna phase 3, ADCOM plan for October 29th. Let's look at this. So looks like their phase 3 trial failed. Here it says. Let's look at their website. So they don't have any investor presentation here. It looks like this failed in the phase 3. Let's see why this the FDA accepted their NDA. All right. So I think I'm going to stay away from this one. Looks like they didn't do well in phase 3. Very risky. AdCom might be very. It's going to be a heated discussion. Let's stay away from this. STRO phase 1 data. Okay, I'm going to skip this one. This is a company that I don't know well about. Cura. So this is one I keep on hearing a lot about. Let's look at this one. I I have not really invested in this stock in the past, but I know it's very widely followed. And phase 2 data at ACR October 29th, which is going to be Tuesday. So let's look at this one. So this is the molecule. Let me just double check. Yeah. So TP-farinib, this is an oral investigation drug candidate that they are evaluating in multiple solid tumors, hematological indications. It blocks the activity of farnesyl transferase. Protein farnesylation is a key cell signaling process in various cancer processes. They have studied it in 5,000 oncology patients where there was a manageable side effect profile. So this is HRAS mutant squamous cell cancer. Yeah, this is the data they're going to be presenting. They are also testing it in other cancers, peripheral T cell lymphomas, chronic myelomonocytic leukemia, pancreatic cancer. Okay, so let's look at this. HRAS is a proto-oncogene, which is a normal gene. This gene was discovered 40 years back, but there are no therapies against it. Tipifarnib is a selective inhibitor of farnesyl transferase, which is a critical enzyme in the activity of HRAS. Right now, relapsed refractory head and neck squamous cell patient population has survival about 6 to 8 months. And additional therapies, there is a response rate of 10 to 20%. Encouraging clinical activity has been shown in HRAS mutant head and neck squamous cell tumors, and they are doing a registrational trial now. So I just want to take a look at their corporate presentation. Let's see if we get some more information on their data. 261 million in cash. Tipifarnib, they have multiple phase 2 trials going. They also have some other molecules. So it looks like they don't have much of clinical data on this. They have done phase 1 where they found manageable safety profile, which is essentially The goal of phase 1 trials is to check the safety. So they less than 25% treatment discontinuation. Myelosuppression was seen. Durable responses were found earlier, but at that time they didn't have good genetic biomarkers. So this is the study design that they are going to present the data on Tuesday. 17 patients, the different locations of head and neck cancer, pharynx, esophagus, tongue, oral cavity. So this is a case study they have. This patient has 69-year-old male. Either he had recurrent oral cavity, squamous cell cancer. Earlier given these multiple therapies, including nivolumab, anti-PD-1, molecular status HRAS. These were the mutations. So there was a partial response, 40% tumor reduction at cycle 1, 56% reduction at cycle 3. So looks like good response here. This, if you see these pictures, this the big tumor, very disfiguring, slowly getting better here at cycle 2, day 1. Looks like it looks impressive. Looks like there is good response here. Market opportunity, head and neck, they have 2,900 to 4,700 patients. Right now, we don't have much of good response. All of those squamous cell, even higher, 7,500 patients. Okay. So the chart looks like not so bad. Let's look at. Oh, so I am actually using this browsers. I'm using this Amazon Workspace, kind of slow. I am, I don't know where that server is. Probably some Virginia. So there is a little bit of latency here, which might. Okay, we have it here. Cura Oncology Institutional Holding. Let's see this. Ecor one, 80 million. Ecor one is a good one to follow. This is BVF Biotechnology Value Fund. They are a Europe-based biotech fund, 33 million. Cormorant, 21 million. So let's look at it. So insider transactions, they had some insider buying here about 5 million 2018. No insider transactions after that. All right. So this one might be interesting. I think, I mean, we have to look at the options and all, how much is the implied volatility, but looks like the data might be interesting, and this it looks like a promising, worth a small position. I mean, I won't put too much into that, but maybe like 0.5%, 1% into this might be not a bad idea. So maybe I'll pick some Cura also up. So we have two of them that I plan to buy. DCPH, I'm going to not put too much into that, just 1% of the portfolio. And the second one that I'm going to pick up is Cura. Cura, I'm going to pick up maybe little lower. I think 0.5%. I mean, I have little cash. I'm like hedging it with LabD, so I'm little short on cash, and I don't want to go too much heavier on the long side. Okay. So AGRX, I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to just take a break after that. I'm going to eat some dinner and then come back. Okay, AGRX, Twirla. This is a very high risk stock. I know we have been following it, and I think they got CRL, contraceptive patch, hormonal contraceptives, very high risk area. Lot of side effects. Testosterone has this high blood pressure, cardiovascular side effects. Same with estrogens, progesterones. They cause thromboembolic side effects. So very, and there are so many products in the market, contraceptive patches, all kind of different, that there is not really much of unmet need for this. So they had CRL. I mean, FDA doesn't seem to be very interested in approving them. CRL was given twice, 2013 and 17. New PDUFA. AdCom is going to be October 30th. I mean, this is. Uh, I think I'm going to stay away from this one. I mean, very high risk. I don't want to take very risk. Uh, okay, I just want to see what's going on with their CRL issues. So FDA, the second CRL was in December 2017. So FDA said that the NDA could not be approved due to deficiencies related to the manufacturing process and the facility. And FDA had some questions on the in vivo adhesion properties of Twirla and its potential relationship to phase 3 clinical results. So FDA also said this is a patch, so they probably were concerned there is some issue with the adhesion, which is a problem with the patches. I'm very skeptical of them. There is always they come off. So then they did this, looks like, so they did another study. They did a comparative wear study testing the adazone Twidla with Xulane, which is a generic version of a existing orthovera contraceptive patch. So the primary endpoint for the study was mean difference in adhesion scores between Twirla and Xulane. Twirla was found to be statistically non-inferior to Xulane. So looks like they worked on some of these adhesion issues which were raised, and they did a study, and they looks like they presented the data from this study to FDA. And then let's see what happened after that. So they resubmitted the NDA. FDA accepted this May. The resubmitted NDA includes the results of a comparative VS study that was conducted at the request of FDA on in vivo adhesion, additional information on the manufacturing process, and other analysis responding to the 2017 CRL. The FDA said that it considered the resubmission to be a complete class 2 response to the CRL, and the PDUFA is November 16. So they have this AdCom. AdCom is on October 30th. So looks like they fixed some of the issues, but my only concern is that FDA might still try to find some problem with this. Uh, so looks like they had some insider buying in June, about not a very big amount, about $25,000. So not very big. Let's look at. So institutional looks like Perceptive Advisors has a position. That's interesting. Let's see, is it new? All right. So looks like Perceptive Advisors, they have 9 million of stock. That's kind of interesting. I mean, it's not a very big amount of their portfolio, but still, I mean, they are sort of one name to seriously consider among the institutional investors that I follow. I mean, I don't blindly follow with them, but still, it adds some weight. All right, so this is something. This is something. Yeah, looks interesting. I mean, kind of. Maybe I'll pick a little bit of this and hedge it. Uh, yeah, maybe a little bit, 0.5%, small position. I'm going to hedge it with. They might have some calls. So they don't have options, so that's a problem. So we can't hedge. So anyway, maybe a little bit, small position, 0.5%, little bit, very small position, because the upside here is kind of huge. If this gets approved, I think this can probably go to $3 or so. So the upside is good. The downside is, yeah, if it probably it will go down again to this 50 cents level if they, well, looks like third time they looks like they fix the issues, they have more data, probably looks like they might have a better chance this time. So this is interesting too. Okay, so three stocks we have picked so far, which are run by small decisions. If that's not going above 1% in each of them, they might be very high risk. I mean, clinical data, adcoms cannot be predicted. So DCPH, the second one is Kura, the third one is AGRX. So I'm going to pick up small positions in them on Monday. Okay, we still have a big list here to go through. EDMP, this is one name. I know a lot of people follow this one. Higher dose naloxone injection, PDUFA. I mean, this has sort of like a cult following. I don't know, but it's going down. Yeah, high dose naloxone. I don't think it's really a very big unmet need. Naloxone is widely available. It's not like something which is really, So anyway, this ADMP, I'm going to stay away. Okay. Then we have a lot of data coming up at SITC. I'm going to early November. This is in DC, so I'm going to be attending this on the site. There is some data from ALKS. ALKS, this is a name I'm very interested in looking at. Okay. I'm going to just make a list of what else to look at when I come back from my break. Okay, I'm going to look at Red Hill, ALKS, T-Bio. Flexion, this is a stock we owned in the past in this service. I know a couple of years back when they had this first PDUFA, we played it well, and then I sold it after the approval. And now what they are doing is that they are giving this Zilretta, which is an extended dose formulation of steroids for osteoarthritis. And now they are giving a second dose, which looks like the first one is not lasting very long. So now they are doing the second dose, and this will. Let's see. I mean, I'm not very keen for this one, but I'll take a quick look. Okay. Pairs. This one also a lot of people follow. I'm going to look at this one too. They have phase one data, HER2 positive solid tumors, SITC. So I'm going to look at this. Selecta Biosciences. I'm going to look at this one too. Selecta Biosciences, I own a small position. So they are doing this study, phase two data in gout, SCL212, and they're going to be presenting this at this American College of Rheumatology, November 8 to 13th. APLS, this is another one I'm going to check. Complement company, complement dependent nephropathies, and we had a couple of buyouts recently. Phase two data, they're presenting at SITs, ASN, American Society of Nephrology, November 8th. I'm going to look at this one too. ALNA, this is another one I'm going to check. Primary hyperoxaluria. So this is another stock we owned in the service in the past. I think I wrote an article also last year, and then I sold it. So now they have this phase two data, American Society of Nephrology, November 8th. I'm going to check this one. Replimune, phase one. Phase one is usually not very interesting. I mean, lipocene. Okay, let's look at this one though. FPRX, Celiad, a lot of phase one. Nectar. Okay, this one. Nectar is interesting. Let's look at this one. Nectar I own already a small position, so I'm going to just look at again this. They're doing this, this is their combination Nectar 214 showed good results. Melanoma, now they're testing. Bristol Myers out licensed it, and now they're testing it in these different cancers. They have phase 1 to updated data at SITC. And Mirati has another. SITC looks like a lot of data. I'm going to. That's going to be interesting. Okay. So I'm going to just pause this recording here. I'm going to end this recording, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back in an hour, and then so this is the first video I'm going to post today, and then I'll see. I think I hopefully I can do it today. These other names that I made a list of. I want to look at them again today. So I'm going to just stop